Now, next, as we go on to the next session, and as Jagdish mentioned about it, because of the explosion in the content that is available, and it is, even for such a platform like Sunbird, it is likely that you can have a huge amount of learning content. So what are the capabilities that are available for us to organize the content so that they can be made easy and contextual for discovery of these learning assets for our learners. So now here to talk about that, invite Kamesh to walk us through these capabilities of Sunbird, please.
Thank you, Salil. Are you able to hear me and see my screen? Okay. Well, so I think we have seen the variety of learning assets that can be created using Sunbird building blocks and to drive rich learning experiences. And I'm sure you might be quite excited on the kind of possibilities and opportunities that throws up, right? Now the question is, how do you organize them in a way that they are easily available to the users, to the learners, or whoever is going to consume these assets? In fact, that question has already come, right? So let me just take my favorite analogy here. Just imagine you go to a restaurant to order food, and you find a menu like this, right? It's going to be quite a task for you to actually pick and choose what might be useful for you. And you can see obviously what the issue is with such a menu, right? So cooking food is only half part of it. Being able to serve it better is the second part. And the same applies to even learning, right? You just throw all your learning assets to all the users that you have. That's not going to really work, right? So how do you go about doing that, and what Sunbird enables? In fact, there's a lot of science behind how you create better food menus, and a lot of it also applies to how you organize your learning content or assets to easily make it discoverable in the context of the users, right? Some of the basic key capabilities that Sunbird enables is tagging the learning assets for easy navigation and search, packaging the assets into some contextual relevant packages for the learners, and also being able to access the relevant digital assets through something which is physical, like what JB had mentioned. There still will be or could be a physical element which is there in the learning process, and how you connect between those two, right? So the first and the foremost capability, which is a fundamental thing, is being able to tag the assets to make it easily navigable and searchable by the users. You can think of how, in your context, how you want to organize them, how do you want to classify them, right? For example, in case of food items, you can classify them, let's say, as a veg, non-veg, or South Indian, North Indian, so on and so forth. Similarly, for your domain, you can think of what makes sense for your context, right? For example, for skill development, if you have certain trainings, you may want to organize based on the domain, the sector, the skills that the training provides, right? So that users can easily find the relevant content. Similarly, if you take a school curriculum example, you may want to organize the entire set of assets in terms of which class, which medium, which subjects, and so on and so forth, right? You can also think of tagging the content in terms of who it is meant for, right? That's also becomes important. For example, let's say, again, in case of skill development, you can think of the users, the roles of the users, job roles, and then it could be skill levels, the experience, and you can target your assets based on that, right? So the users can define their personas using these categories that you can define, and then they can easily find the relevant content based on that. and even system can suggest what is relevant to you, right? You can actually think of your own, domain, what makes sense in your context. And the Sunbird's power is you don't need to code, you don't need to develop, the code again for that. All you need to do is define those set of categories, define those set of classes, and then configure it using Sunbird, and the Sunbird will be able to enable you to automatically tag them and organize them based on that. What it enables easy navigation using these classifications. For example, in case of one of the biggest or largest adopters of Sunbird, which is Diksha, we have actually the school curriculum across the state boards as well as central boards, the assets being tagged and organized based on that. Similarly, for example, for a kind of a COVID-related, let's say, training, that material that you want to create, you can have a wide variety of users roles, and based on that you can classify the content, and they can be able to access it, what is relevant to them based on this, right? And it also enables powerful search and discovery, where users can actually type in search text, and then based on that you can tag content using keywords, using what type of content it is, what media type it is, so on and so forth. And it also enables multilingual search and discovery, so that users can actually type in different languages that they are comfortable, and you can actually enable that kind of a search. Now, moving on to the other one, which is also interesting, is how do you package in certain assets. For example, in a menu, you might have seen items like North Indian thali, or paratha combo, or South Indian thali, and so on and so forth, right? So what it gives is, when you package relevant assets into a collection, it enables an experience to the user, and they can easily find relevant content together in a single package, and that makes them easily consume those assets, right? So again, you can think of what makes sense and how you want to package your learning assets based on your use cases, based on your domain. Examples could be, again, if you take skill development domain, where you want to create training for a certain set of users, you can actually collate all the training materials into a course and then publish it for them to consume. Or it could be a set of activities that you want them to do. You can collate them into like a project, and assign them the project so that they can actually take it up and consume. Again, similarly, for a school curriculum, actually you can organize the set of assets, probably makes sense to collate it as a digital textbook, right? So it's nothing but a hierarchical folder structure where you can define what you want to call it. You can call it as a textbook or a handbook or a course or a project or whatever it is based on your domain. It's not, these are not hard-coded inside the Sunbird, so that it becomes like what JB was saying, generalized, which you can configure it based on your domain. You can even say like how many folders this should have, what type of assets should this have, and then create such collections and give it for easy and relevant consumption, right? We actually have probably more than 6,000, 7,000 textbooks on Diksha, which are become a digital assets on this platform, where the learning assets are all combined and assembled in form of a textbook, where within each textbook, the chapter, the units, and you link the assets to the relevant units and chapters. So you can imagine, right, how easy it will be for a teacher or a student just to come onto the platform. Instead of looking in what could be relevant to them, they just open up the textbook that they are currently going through, go to the chapter, bam, you get the kind of content that is relevant for that. Last but not least, this is, I think, probably one of the quite unique features that Sunbird enables, which is accessing your digital assets through physical, right? Just again, going back to menu analogy, just think how many times you have seen some menu item in the menu, which you don't have a clue of, right? How do you know what it is? Just imagine you had an app where you scan the menu item, it shows how it looks like and tells you what the ingredients are, right? So such kind of possibilities are, enabled. Sunbird supports things to enable that. What we have is you can basically create a QR code and stamp it on the physical entity, like let's say a textbook. You print a QR code on the textbook, and the student or teacher scans it, and they get the relevant content of that chapter, right? So they don't even need to browse through the digital textbooks and go to the chapter. They have the physical textbook at hand. They just scan the QR code and get it, right? And it need not be just textbooks or paper. You can even imagine that you can just print a QR code and stick it onto let's say physical devices, right? For example, you want to create a training on how to use certain devices. You create it digital training and then create a corresponding QR code, stick it onto those devices. They scan at the time when they are using the device, you scan it and you get the relevant material on how to use it, right? For example. So these are some of the, the Sunbird provides you to do it easily, where you can generate the QR code and a unique ID, what we call as a dial code, and link the unique ID to the assets that you have in the system, and then print it, the QR code on, stick it onto the physical entity that you have, which you want to access. And this throws up very interesting possibilities, where, for example, you just scan an image, right, and get the 3D visualization of it, right? You can think of, imagine, it's only up to the imagination and how you use the tools, right? So to sum up, the Sunbird has variety of mechanisms that can help you build contextual discovery of your content. So it's up to you on how you want to use it, and hopefully you'll create a lot better organized menus that can be easily used by your users. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Kamesh. So there are a couple of questions. So I'll pose them to you one by one. One is from the Zoom platform. From our experiences, across organizations that are starting to adopt Sunbird, what are some of the typical use cases that we are seeing for content usage? And an adopter, what do we suggest? Which formats do we think that they should start with?
Yeah, I think it depends on primarily your audience. For example, what we have seen, at least in Diksha context, for example, is if you are having, let's say, students of, let's say, class 8 to 10, for example, right? They might be a lot of interactive content which visualizes them, especially things like physics, science subjects, right? It might be good to actually visualize that, and interactive content is a lot more we see it as used. And of course, videos which can actually explain your concepts clearly are the topmost used type of content that we have on it. And of course, questions and practice sets are other type of most commonly used content. So it depends on your use case and the target learners or instructors to whom you want to create this experience.
Okay, and since this webinar is also being simultaneously made live on YouTube, we have a question from YouTube as well. Are there any UI UX guidelines that the adopters need to follow for their content to be used on Sunbird?
Yes. Since Sunbird enables multiple channels of consuming the content, right? You can actually consume content on your mobile, right? So there are certain guidelines and specifications that the Sunbird has in terms of the content formats and what type of, for example, HTML, what versions of HTML does it support, and how do you want to lay out when you want to create a content which is consumed on a mobile. You need to follow certain standards based on that, right? So yeah, there are certain guidelines for that.
All right. Okay. Thank you.